Saje Chodan Saje Chonon Lai Shangcho Padu Dhamma Jasum Che Shishi Jibe Sana Lola Pencho Sanje Doba Sho Saje Chodan Saje Chonon Lai Shangcho Padu Dhamma Jasum Che Take Shishi Jibe Sana Lola Pencho Sanje Doba Sho Saje Chodan Saje Chonon Lai Shangcho Padu Dhamma Jasum Che Take Shishi Jibe Sana Lola Pencho Sanje Doba Sho. Okay, what are we going to do? Let's stay at home, very relaxed. Just go home. Yeah, yeah. Don't you that alone, really. Yeah, 맞아. 다 꼼대 자식이다. 꼼대만 보면 멤버지. 무슨 배송 검사자유로. 무슨 배송 사야 돼. 소소 그 더 예담. 에너지 라마. 근데 가레지 공부해나 대소소 인도네야. 야포 세트업. We do learn meditation to just basic meditation, usually visualization and your guru or your deity. If you practice Buddha Shakyamuni, you can visualize Buddha Shakyamuni. Avalokiteshvara, or you can visualization of Avalokiteshvara. Whatever you're comfortable with that, visualization that, and also you record for the blessings from that, or purify your our own negative karmas. And you first you visualization the deity very clear as much as you can. Then your mind records for please blessing to my body, speech, mind. Then through your records, the or guru or deity's heart, they let 5 different colors like yellow, blue, like this kind, like liquid, nectar. The nectar come through their heart to resolve to your body, to purify or all your negative karmas, your body, speech, mind. So again. That also the one of the best way to practice Guru Yoga and daily practice and purify all any. If you have some any sick pain here or pain here, whatever you are some person not comfortable, you that nectars, go through that and reduce or purify. Okay? This can be to the meditation, okay? You want good? Maybe 10 minutes. Okay. More than 10 minutes. Okay. And the two chini that's based on the Hokumaina. Take a lead on some Yashana Pendu.
You meditate in that way, with the descending or flowing of the nectar and the light, then it helps both mind and body.
Which is also been a Subola Nathan of the Shuchimbo Tangiwana, and Sanji Melan to the Kumchi. Yamela Chubu Maimbachi, Mela Kajam, Mela Zochi, Tea, yo, Shoshan, that's Sanji the Shajos of Matama, yo, somebody. And the Tene to the Bajonchi, and Chivana, and the Tene Natalat. Thank you, Sati.
And so, especially if you have some kind of pain in your body, then you can visualize medicine Buddha, and then not just medicine Buddha, but medicine Buddha surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 direction, and then the nectar and light flowing down from them, and then curing all that diseases or clearing away all that pain. If you meditate like that, then it definitely helps to cure the disease or to get rid of the pain.
Yaji Semba Musawan the Neo Kavimana, Yaji said Jambaya to Kumchi, Yatana Chitas Bajana Pangosari.
And also, if you have some kind of ignorance or not clear mind, then you can visualize the minutiae and do the same kind of nectar and light flowing down and purifying all those ignorances like that. That would also happen.
Yaji Sema Puzu de Wandochi, to the Naya, Papa Shiris, and the Atochina.
So if your mind is kind of disturbed or kind of feeling dull, then also you can visualize like Avalokiteshvara and then do the same kind of meditation of nectar and light flowing down and then clearing out all those dullness or ignorance, the unhappy mind.
Yaji Sozo Tawachi, Pachimo Boyode, Sozo Lamrochi, Tenebanaya, I think it's a Domal to just what an happened.
Also, if you have lots of obstacles, nothing works out, and or so many obstacles, and couldn't be success in anything that you do, then you can visualize Tara and then do the same kind of meditation. And also, if you want to do a practice of longevity, long life practice, then you can visualize Amitayus, Buddha Amitayus, and do the same kind of meditation again. So you can do this kind of meditation of nectar and light flowing down and purifying all the negativities of one's body, speech, and mind, just like the water wash away all the dirt from your body. So imagine all the obstacles, diseases, and so forth of the body, speech, and mind is being washed away like that. So you do that again and again, again and again, and that will really help you.
This is
the practice now of the nectar and light flowing down and purifying your negativities. There's a lot of change happening in your life, like from bad to good or good to bad, something like that. A lot of change happening. Then you can also contemplate on the impermanence and the karmic law of cause and effect.
어쨌다 대 도조 직다 이래 소소 초가다 샤치 제념을 시켰더니 예서로 와.
This is the kind of practice that you do on a day-to-day life, applying to your feelings.
아 돈도 뭐보지 용사도 땅 것도 남도 그 형문은 요모세 되고 그래.
All this comes, all these problems, obstacles, and disease, and so forth comes from our so conceptual mind, superstitious mind, and the delusions.
제가 딴 남도세 말이 요모세 저도 가는 거다. 요모세도 가는 거 못하고 시당 요모세. 요모세 땅 지금 잡으러 못 보셔라. 시당 요모세도 가지라.
When we think about delusion, what kind of mind or state of mind you consider as delusion? There are so many different kinds of delusion, right? But delusion in general, what do you consider that as?
Is it?
This usually disturbed, but it's and also mistaken.
What do you guys think? You guys are very quiet.
I would say it's an exaggeration.
No doubt.
사실 너희들이 빼자는 너희 손가락 봤나? 사실 쌈로 대수수결은 코가 가려야 아니 소소직 선밥 못 되어서 여기 니바이메가 실내지 된지게 샘주질해야 하려고 그랬어.
It's a mental factor, right? The delusion is a mental factor. It's not a primary mind.
Ignorance, you would say, like any one of the delusions, like attachment or mental factor.
Mental factor, right? So it's a mental factor. So whenever it arises, that makes your mind unhappy or disturbed, but that disturbs your mind or makes your mind amused and makes you unhappy. So that kind of mental factor, the mental factor which has the power to make you unhappy whenever it arises. So that kind of mental factor having that power to disturb you or to make you unhappy is called delusion. So that kind of mental factor having that power or potential, is designated as delusion. So there's this many kind of different kind of delusions. Some as like the delusion that's manifesting, or some that delusion that are dormant and like kind of quiet and sleeping. But when it meets with something, then it rises again and then. So we have to identify that. So usually, if we don't think about it, we don't know. But now we understand what is delusion, and then then think about that. So you make yourself familiar with that whenever it arises, you identify it right away, and then say, oh, this is a delusion that's arising, so I should not be influenced by that, or I should not follow that by that. And then we always say we should practice Dharma, right? So if you are able to control that, or go against that mind, then you are practicing Dharma. And you know the Dharma. That's the worth knowing the Dharma. So you can apply that.
Okay.
So that's the short like the conclusion.
제가 시당에 간도 다 지금 요모 독섬나서 지금 생이다 야와셔는 배 공유 자오다 다 차이차 오고요. 그래서 참 하고는 야보래 배야보러.
Other that's like the in short, it's like that. But in detail, of course, there are so many definitions, divisions, and so forth and so forth. It's very complicated. Of course, if you know, it's good. It's good if you know them all. But then there are too many to know and so many definitions and so forth. And it's a little bit complicated to understand all that.
Okay. 이나 당가서 아니 시티는 마도긴다. 아니 계산 딩가랑 가도 갈라 그래. 아니 딱까지나 가진 밥에 넣든 냠내고 치고 그래서 대냠내 좋아라 같이 수시거든요. 아니 다 구마 거 와라서 봐. 아니 개개 와라서 봐. 아니 내려라서 봐 치그래 했으라고 뭐.
So last time we talked about these seven wealth or treasures and all the Arya beings, right? Noble being. And so you have to, practice that. And what, hinders you from practicing that? And like gambling, right? Going in the crowds, watching shows, and so forth. Those kind of steal away that opportunity to practice the seven riches of the Arya beings.
다 안에 든지기 단다까지 같이도 빠와라 들어 빠마도 좀 가지는 거잖아. 아니 조심해야 돼요. 세네. 아니 저렇게 소시다 송아니 되냐 무슨 도시이다.
And so what causes us to to not be able to overcome these obstacles is not having the contentment. And so now it is explained in verse 34 and 35. So let's read these two verses now, okay? Contentment is the best type of wealth taught by teacher of gods and humans. So always be content. If you are satisfied, you are wealthy, even if you lack material riches. And 35, O faithful one, to have many possessions is misery. Those with few desire are not like that. Neither kings have as many headaches as they have heads.
Okay? 아직도 그거다. 제다다 꾸마 그거다. 김발 지하다. 저 영화 저거다 가와지는 거나. 아니 조심해야 돼요. 그래서.
So all that problem of stealing and gambling and so forth that comes from work, comes from not having the satisfaction or contentment.
나도 축제다 나도 참아야 돼. 나도 이제 롱실랑도 축제야 말이야. 담년들랑도 축제야 거 말이야. 간죠. 축제시마다 요거도 못되게로.
We don't have contentment towards anything, right? We are not content with the wealth and possessions that we have, or with the fame and good words that we hear. We're not satisfied with that.
이게 된다고 가르친다. 또로 그러나. 근데 단다 수소라 그 여봤대. 여봐 씹어지고 그래서.
So we have to understand what we have. First we have to understand what we have.
Right? 너 뭐지가 수소라 그 여봤대. 여봐 다 마셔 봐. 뭐 마셔 봐. 나 되게 다 초 마셔 봐지는 뭐 보여. 이거 좋아.
We don't understand, or we are not aware about what we have, right? Because of not knowing what we have, then we always want to have more and more.
밤년다에 봐나 텔레단다 강요와 텔레마마시. 아니 너 롱줄에나 거기 단다 강레 요와 텔레마마 텔레야와시.
So even if it's a contentment, I mean the wealth and possession, or the fame and praise, we always want to have more.
제다다 디삼도 들고 그래서.
So this one, this mind, wanting to have more, we should overcome that.
제다 대파 더네. 아니 내가 정말 조심봐. 대단 아니 랍다 쇼 임바다 산지 좀 내가 아니 되는 남거 손발해서.
So overcoming that and then being content or satisfied with what we have, and so being content is the best type of wealth. It's taught by the teacher of gods and humans.
제가 되는데 대단 남바 건데 아니 딱 초바시바 시바 제네 하코와 제네 아니 대타와이나 아니 수수지. 그리고 섬라 따지 너가 참마르고 연구했어. 너가 참마르고 하나 나도 지금 밤년다 주변에 되는 일에 더 나가는 너가 스위치더라고. 너가 스위치.
So it says also always be content. And so if you are satisfied with what you have, then if you find the satisfaction in that, then it's better than having all this wealth and fame. So main thing is to satisfy you, right? So if something satisfies you, then it's like same like having that all. Even if you are not satisfied, if you are not satisfied, even if you have all those things, then it's not enough, right? So, but if you are satisfied, then it's enough.
Like Bob is wearing all the jacket same. It's like years, right?
Yeah.
How many do you have that? How many years ago you have that jacket?
This?
Yeah.
Oh, this one is new.
Oh, you said all the same.
I got this one last summer, but then it's the only one I wear. And then this one I got the year before. So these two is all that I wear.
Yeah, he have no always thing. Haim always there was something. Anyway, 제가 초시에 가는 섬은 너가 들어와. 초시에 돼.
What is contentment? It means like satisfied, right?
Mhm.
So to be content, it means to be satisfied.
나도 내가 제하다 지지 대표주 들어가다 책다면 수준 내가 가야지 들어와.
So and also all the things that we do, right? The job, to make money and so forth is all to satisfy, right? Or to fulfill our wishes.
제다다 수준 강 요한테 수준 내가 강지 제토와 있나? 아니 강 매왔다 라야가 탑시식인데 남라다 직자다 아니 요래 요거 말했어.
If your wish is fulfilled by what you have, then and another one, if you are satisfied with what you have, then you don't have to seek for more things, right? So you will not have to go through all that worry and and stress, wanting to have more and how can I get more? What can I do to get it more and so forth? So that kind of thought, stress, you don't have to have.
이나단 네가 가서 지나서 내가 만들라고 해.
But does it say that you should not walk? You should not go for a walk?
조세 고를
Like money?
저도 조세 고를해서 말라 안 했지. 내가 제요 말했을 때 고도 해.
Do you understand? Does it seem like it's telling you not to do work or not to make money?
Is it? I don't know what that means.
Always going after more and more and more.
What do you think about?
Yeah, just to be satisfied with what you have, but you still have to go to work and
Yeah,
you need to pay for your house and
exactly.
you need to pay for food. You want if you have money, you can practice generosity.
안테는 조심만 나가도 개놓으면 돼. 조심만 가도 돼.
So then, what is the difference of having or not having contentment? If you still go after that, right? If you still think that you have to go to work, have to make money, have to pay bills, right? You're thinking like that, right? Then, in that sense, having or not having contentment, does it make any difference?
Yeah, because you might be satisfied, even though you're working, but you will be satisfied with what you have. You feel satisfied. But it's different from if you don't feel satisfied, like, oh, I really want this nice car. I want a better phone. I want a better TV. I want a better clothes. Then you're never satisfied.
What do you think?
I guess if it wasn't mixed with the 8 worldly dharmas, that you could just
제가 다 단다 담을 다셨죠. 다 단다 가서 준도 좋다 가서 참말에 조세 열어.
Do we have contentment? Like in our case, do you have contentment? Do you have contentment? Do I have contentment?
I have contentment about clothes. I'm happy with the clothes I have. But I always feel dissatisfaction and want something else to make me feel better.
Discontent is the fuel for all the afflictions.
What do you think? Rika, are you sleeping there?
Contentment.
No, I'm
mean,
not
like-
sleepy.
Contentment here, the Dharma. No, you mute. I couldn't hear you.
I'm not sleepy. The contentment, it comes to my mind is that it's connected with the motivation of 8 worldly concern, that the chasing after the satisfactions of up and down and not doing that, the content. And I am definitely not content. I chase for praise. I chase for my good image. I chase for materials. I chase for satisfaction, sensory pleasure. I'm not content. I try to, but that's my feelings. I see that in my daily life.
It bothers you?
Yes, definitely. Especially praise and praise, good image, materials. I'm not content, and then it makes me unhappy in every day. I see that in daily life.
What do you think?
Sure, I mean, because, see,
We're not very serious. We're not very serious.
some things,
No, we're not very serious.
like, relatively speaking, I think I'm pretty content with, certain material aspects of my life, but of course, yeah, there's all these other types of dissatisfaction, emotional dissatisfactions, things like that, yeah, and so no.
아직 아주 너바 강아지 소속은 너바 틈바치나 야 되게 내가 좀 마치 왕도 내 사람을 내가 너도 삼비가 소거들래나 양주 대 매바 마도 내 사람을.
So if we are content with what we have, right? Like, oh, I'm happy with what I'm making, let's say. So does it harm to not do the job or no? Does it harm to doing the job or going to the work?
Having contentment.
Contentment.
Does it cause harm to doing the job?
Doing the job, yeah. Going to work.
I mean,
making money.
I don't need to go. When your job's not done because you didn't know, you go work.
Well, if you have enough money that you don't need to do work, then you just retire and
No.
then you don't spend very much money. You're content.
I think maybe you don't only talk about money, just any kind, like name, go.
Praise
Yeah.
or
Praise.
yeah.
I was thinking about so like around they're talking about the three shackles, and the last one is doubt, and when we were talking about laziness the last time, that is the one, like, I think I have all types of laziness or whatever in spades, but what I think about is doubt in myself. Like, that's where my most of my discontentment is like if I'm over expecting of myself, or like what Rika or Jennifer are talking about, like you are trying to prove yourself to others. And what I am learning from these teachings is like all those attempts to prove yourself are just proving your insecurity and how much, and that you need more faith in yourself and in the Dharma, and that they say in this text that doubt is a very big it's the last of the three shackles. It's a huge obstacle in the path because it can discourage you, just like getting into the last type of laziness.
Lelo 그냥 거기서는 나도 배 레로라 데 초시치나 디그레스. 그러나 아니야 레벨 레벨 쇼책도 쓰면 그러나 당가 가서 로중 제야라 초시치나. 냠래 제야라 초시치나.
대체만.
내가 초시자 당게 그냥 좀 마운트는 거야 지금 제마도는 책이라. 뭐 진행마도 되는 차. 제가 마운트는 뭐 진행마도 되는 차 됐어요. 그래서 그래서
냠래다 로저제 주시야 못해. 렐로는 못 오죠.
So, if you're doing some practice and you say, oh, I'm happy with what I'm doing, it's contentment with your practice. Can you do that? Contentment with your studies and practice? So here, contentment is only about the worldly things. Contentment with the worldly things, not with the Dharma or study. Study, you have to study as much as you can. And there's never enough, right? So it's never bad for you. The more you know, better it is. So you should always seek more to study. And it cannot be you should not be content with the study or the practice of Dharma until you gain enlightenment. But here what's talking about is the contentment, with the worldly things.
아니 다 조심해는 좀 가는 다 되게는 쇼가 이제 정하게 작도 수정하게 작도 와.
And then it's given answer in the verse
Yeah, but
25. What happens if you don't have contentment, right?
예? 아니 다 들리지 마다 다 초마신나 조심해 얘기 가는나 대회에서 다 잡으라 파베네. 아니 세당글라서 베니 지금 소소라 네 지금 공화대와 아니 진짜게 아니 진짜 가서 뭐 보여와나 되게 수죠 뭐 보다 갔나 대라 때는 소수고 소쇼야 니가 요레스 대송 마타베 깔래요 요레스 라드와 니가 요레스 들리라 아
So no solve the calendar.
아무 소 마타베 깔래 대리 송 마타베 깔래 아 들리 라드와 깔래 진짜게 동안 보여와 인자 아니 들만 보 연결에 다시.
And so here it says that, oh, faithful one. So that's referring to the king, right? Or anybody, whoever this teaching is for. And it says to have many possession is misery, right? So it's just, possession is misery, is a suffering. So at the beginning, you have the suffering of collecting it, accumulating it. And then in the middle, a suffering of losing it. So suffering of being stolen, right? So you are protecting, where you have to work so hard to protect it, thinking that, oh, it might get stolen or it might get lost like that, right? And then at the end, there's the suffering of losing it. You have to lose it anyway, right? So they'll have to go through all these sufferings because of the possession. But if you are satisfied with what you have, then you will not have these kind of sufferings. Does it make sense?
소수고 배체 마땅하지. 아니 소수고 나라야 냐 마페르지. 아니 쇼로라 ben야 백나 야무나 스토지 샤고 같은 데게 뭐도. 근데 강에로 와도 배chen 당고 말이.
So some people, they have so much that they can't use it for themselves, but yet they don't want to give to others, and then they find a storage to store their things.
Right? Your bank.
Or if you the money, or jewelry, you put in the locker in the bank. Right? So that's the suffering, right? Is that suffering or not?
No, it's suffering or not.
And a lot of average people will have retirement accounts, for instance.
Maybe not talking about that. Maybe someone buy a very expensive picture.
Okay, so you're talking
about some picture. I think we don't want to say money. Tulo maybe very expensive.
Clothes. They don't want to give it away, but they don't have a place to keep in their house, so they rent a storage to store those possessions.
Then you have to pay money every month.
Yeah.
Is it solvent?
Yeah. I would think.
A lot of people have
Buy insurance.
Yeah, some people have a lot of interesting things. This may be for us maybe we don't. This moment do enter is tambo kunshi bodo nyo. That land over some so much of it dunga. Any topic chosen to tell her. That's sentiment the same thing you want that can you.
So people don't understand that as a suffering, right? The more house you have, more happiness it is. They don't think it's a suffering, but there's a worry about that, right? So you more things you have, more worry you have, right? Even a house or clothes or cars or whatever things you have, you always have worry about that, right? So that maybe we all agree, right? So that is the suffering. According to Buddhism, that's the suffering. So here is given the example of the Nagas. And like the Naga kings, they have a lot of heads.
And then go kase yo tamji, and then lung go mamosh and the low pombo kingers. Go kase mo tamji dunga temola, Pantene Manakashi.
So then it says that the many Nagas, the Naga kings, they have many heads. So how many number of heads they have, that many number of suffering they will have. Like that many headaches, as many as they have heads.
Do you think this is possible? So can
you refer to any other examples that like related with us, like that. So more things we have,
Yeah.
like 5 fingers, 5 sufferings.
Yeah.
But we need 5 fingers, right? Without 5 fingers, we cannot
2
learn.
hands, 2 suffering. Maybe just 1 hand would be good.
Yeah, the text said they have very discussion that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nagas have five heads. They have 5.
5
Sorry.
headaches.
We have 5 fingers. We have five headaches.
5 finger aches.
Yes.
But that's bad.
I don't think so. I mean,
And why the Naga have 5 is bad?
because if you lose one, you still have some.
They're what? They're the
Yeah,
text.
that's the same thing for them, right?
Same thing for them.
So why is Nagarjuna saying that? Naga kings have 5 heads, and then they'll be like, well, 5 headaches.
What
It
do you
seems like just a funny example.
think?
So maybe
Humorous,
Jennifer has
humorous.
more suffering of more number of hair than Bob.
Yeah. That's true.
If my hair falls out, I don't care.
Because you associate the mind, the head with thinking, the brain, and maybe that's why they have so much suffering, because they could have more
Mhm.
afflictions or.
No, this is different. Come down though.
Yeah, you can debate like that, right?
You can debate like that, right? What do you think, Rika? Hey, Rika.
I think because the head, you need only one. You don't need 5 of them. Fingers, you need 5 to grab a ball or something.
You can grab only
But
2.
head, you don't need 5 of them. You need only one.
No, finger also you can take the finger can.
But if you have one less finger, it's hard to function. But so that's why we have 5 fingers. But head, I haven't seen anybody have 5 heads. You don't need 5 heads.
No, this is the Nagas have the 5
So
heads.
if you have a 5 head, you can see 5 directions at the same time. With the
Well,
one head, you only see
Well,
one direction.
actually, deity has 5 heads, so maybe it's better to have a 5 heads.
But 5 heads will see 5
Thousand
different
arms has 11
directions.
heads.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should have 1,000 arms and 11 heads.
Yeah, well, how we discussion that. Anyway, I think this is maybe not necessarily something. They're not talking about for all the heads.
Yeah, so you only if it creates problem. If it brings more suffering, then it's a suffering to have more of those things.
당연히 주쇼라는 게 시와이나. 또 못하니나. 아니 못하니가 강해 되어. 지금 지금 누가 없이 말했지. 주쇼 시야들이 시야.
So like if you have a 2 car, you'll have a suffering of 2 cars, of taking care of the 2 cars, of worrying about 2 cars, right? Paying for the 2 cars.
But you need 2 cars.
But if you have only 1 car, then 1 suffering. Is that right?
If you have no car, you have the suffering of not having walking and taking a bus.
But if you only have 1 car, then you have to share it with your spouse, and then you have the worry you can't go same place at the same day.
Same day, yeah.
2 different places at the same
Exactly.
day.
Yeah. But at least you don't have the suffering of having car.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Different.
Different suffering.
단 닐레판에 내 지나가다 봐나. 아니 땅 알아서 슐록 그변에 저 잘라 놀때도 저라 봐지 돌아게 들어봐. 근데 쉬운주가 나라 이바나 텐데 야스 속깔에 소서로 송깔에 이 라웨 동안도 뭐보면 되다. 제가 가정한도 슐록 놀때 아니 소서로 지금 폰데 마도 네가 배도 말이에요.
So you just have to compare, right? Having or not having. Like of course there's more suffering having, but people don't understand that. We don't understand that. That's why we always want to have more and more. But if we, can live without having it, it's better, like not having it. But because we want to have it now, we feel like we must have it, and then that's why we have more suffering. So I think especially it's referring to the possession. And the more possession you have, more suffering you have get. Because at the beginning you have the the suffering of accumulating it, to earn it and to make it, and then after that, you have suffering of protecting it, and then at the end you have suffering of losing it.
그냥 나도 거기까지다 다 조속하지 되면은 미까지 배째마다 나 비짜라 나다 아니야 지금도 다 두들려 먹는 전에 이런 거 마음 팬을 하고 말이 트레이너를 하고 말이 아니 지 간지 팬동도 고쳐야 돼요. 다니 맞아 라나 안에 뺏어로.
So some people they have so many things in their house, right? So they keep all these things in their house. They can't use it all for but themselves, and they're very miser to give it to others. And then and if they lose it, then they feel so much worry about it, right? Then and eventually they will lose it, and then they go with all this clinging and attachment to those possessions.
제가 너무 점쟁이 되고다 돼. 남들은 막 가리는 그렇게로. 지신다고다 짜다고다 찍다 가리는 키로 마셔.
Like our neighbors, the Chinese neighbor, they always pick up everything. Whatever we throw it from here, they pick up. Like the wood or like and a piece of metal or anything that we throw in the street. Put in the street, then they will take it.
제가 둘로까지 가졌다. 다 간지 조심해다. 너 그 배째되고 말해 거는 것만 조심해야 되지 그래.
So that like many people they do, they always think about, oh, maybe this will be useful for me. This will be useful for me. That even if they see one piece of stick, they say, oh, maybe I can make a fire with this. And later like that. So they always keep like. So I used to do that too. Like whenever I have a piece of wood, oh, maybe I can build something with this. When I build something, I can use this, to build the site, of that part of the furniture like that. So we'll always have things like that. So thinking that, oh, this will be useful, and then we keep. Then at the end, we end up creating, accumulating so many more than what we really need.
다 간지 되게 된다고 도도 그래 거는 쇼가네. 소소 그때나 소소를 강한 요한테 내가 좀 찍고 그랬어. 내가 좀 맞이나 그냥 내가까지 장기 샘기 농음도 그때나 좋아요 말이에요.
So anyway, what he's saying is that you have to be content, with the things that you have. If you are not content, you can never be satisfied.
오케이. 제가 양아도 대가고 그래야지 저를 내가 지금 말드나 아니 무사고 맞으니까 제가 이러는 인사 말이.
So of course, this is not saying that you should not work, you should not make money like that.
오케이. 다 쇼로가 디슈고도 쇼로가 되니게 심지 송아 소리도 쏟더니 되게 다또 침발라 말하겠다. 그래서 침발 소리라고 그래서.
In your book, does it go to the verse 36 and 37?
It says so 38.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It skips that, but you can find the whole root text at the back of the book.
Yeah, there's a root text, but there's no explanation though.
다 지지는데 시절 나이로. 나중에 되게 내가는 보물 시겠다. 내가 또 시작이래.
Maybe it's a woman who translated this book.
No, they moved those verses to where they were talking about like choosing a good
Wife.
wife. Yeah, so we already went through those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Before that?
Well, they haven't. We didn't go through them, but they had them earlier. I remember because it was out of order.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the 36 and 37 is talking about what kind of wife you should choose, or what kind of wife you should not choose.
오케이. 다들 잡을라. 그 잡을 보내다 잡을라 해다. 다들 좀 고르고르 와.
So of course, same thing with this is referring to the king, like it was addressing to the king or advising to the king. So therefore, the king is man, therefore he's asking what kind of woman or wife he should have. But if he's advising to the queen, then maybe it was same vice versa. What kind of man you should choose and as a husband, or what kind of man you should not choose as a husband.
Yeah, they have it after verse 20 in
20?
So they go through to verse 20 and then jump to 36 and 37.
Oh, really?
Then go back to verse 21. Oh. So it inserted it there.
Was that 30, 20?
Verse 20?
So if you go to verse 20 where it says understanding that people are like mangoes.
Yeah.
Then you go on the next page, then it says verse 36. So avoiding a wife with any of these three qualities.
Okay.
You see that?
In verse 20?
They put it after verse 20. They put verse 36 after verse 20 in the commentary.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then what connection do you think?
That's right. Yeah.
Mangoes.
Huh?
It said people are like mangoes.
Okay.
And the one
Choosing
verse,
proper spouse,
the next
yes.
verse was how to choose a wife. About people.
Okay.
Okay, so it's at the beginning. Huh? Okay.
The characters.
Yeah, choosing a proper spouse. Yeah. So here, yeah, so there's not saying wife, right? It's just saying spouse, so it can be husband or wife.
내 일단 남도 내가 조보 수수 조보 조만을 고쳐 그래서. 조모.
So yeah, so it's referring to the husband and wife, or can be referring to the boyfriend and girlfriend also.
그러면 다 조보 조모 시간 남주고 수수 지 조보해라 와.
Or friends also. What kind of friends you should have and what kind of friends you should not have.
오케이, 다시 놓다 대가는도.
Okay, so let's read that. Avoid a wife with any of these three qualities: a murderess associated with your enemies, a tyrant contemptuous of her husband, or a thief who steals even the smallest thing. And then 37, a strong woman who is as easygoing as a sister, as affectionate as a helpful, loving friend, and as supportive as your mother or a servant, should be honored as your family's deity.
내려오라 담보도 쇼로 가는 내려오라 깨면들 이거다 이거래.
So is there a wife like that in 37? I mean, in the, verse 36, is there a wife like that? Murderess, tyrant, and thief.
이거래. Is it exist?
They would have to trick you to get married.
Exactly.
Well, no, they're not like that. When you want to marry, they become like that after you marry.
No. No force to be like that.
That's what they say. They usually.
Put the no here. Put. Draw the no here.
What about husbands? A murderous husband,
More likely a husband.
murderous husband, tyrant husband, thief husband.
간제 다 수수 좋았지만 수수 안에 렌즈겠다. 수수 같이 와는 멜레게 되는 차요 그래서.
Yeah, I mean there are like yeah, but of course you shouldn't. Here it says you should avoid, as if it's all in your hand, right? You can't avoid. If it's written in your karma to have such kind of husband or such kind of wife, you'll get it. And then if your karma is exhausted, when you have exhausted that karma, then maybe you get divorced.
When you divorce that become a daughter.
So when you get a divorce, then your karma is exhausted.
No, your karma finished then divorced.
When your karma is exhausted, then you get divorced.
일단 누구나 같이 다 네가 된다 같이 다 지나 잡고나 같이 다 랍자적인다 같이 지나 같이 제메데인데 nhập 창가자 요 말이스 잡고이 바이자 아니 다 지나 제메 가는다 쇼로고니 바텐도 같이 소소도 심못하고 소소도 아마타고 같은 거 그래서.
So then, of course, this is referring to the king. Of course, if at the beginning, if you have a choice, then this is what you have to choose. You should not choose a wife who is like that, murderous, a tyrant, or a thief. Then you should choose a wife, who is like you, easygoing as your sister, or affectionate, a helpful, loving friend, or supportive mother, or obedient maid, like that.
아니 내 나지 매봐나 간지 소소 담보 따다 담질라마지 야거든 갈래진에 소소 직 파티 지금 되지 소소 따와 맞다 맞춰다 간지 파티 마가와차 차로다 되는데 오야 되는데 마와 있고 그래서 해서와.
So yeah, I mean at the beginning, of course, this is how you want to have. But like again, if it's in your karma, and then the condition arise, then no choice but to go through that. And then when your karma is exhausted, then you'll be free from that again.
나나지겠다 소소 사담아 저와 명예의 양직된 되게야. 다 마비된 데 오지로 와.
And then there are some spouse who are not faithful, not respectful to the other spouse, and telling lie or cheating.
나는 소소가 놀경에 들어야 간지 되는데 간지 소소 사상 고고들은 연구여러다.
And then there are also like husband, wife, who are cheating and then stealing, each other's possessions, right?
근데 파tun이자 고치고 이제미지.
Yeah, it's not only referring to wife only; it can be husband also. So a spouse, is good
다 네가 가리다 너 사상전에 가리고 요래서 와나 아니 심모당 아니 지금 비제다고 심모다고 진짜 말까지 소소 따완된 게 되고로 따완만 되면 너 가리나 가자는 거로.
Like your sister, you're getting along like your sister. Usually, there are some sisters who don't get along, but usually you can get along with your siblings, right? So, you have a very similar view, but there are, of course, many siblings, who doesn't get along at all, and they're always kind of fighting. But usually, there is the siblings, they get along. So that's why it's giving the example of the siblings who are getting along. So you need to have a wife, who is like a sibling who gets along.
네 소소가 다 되니까 조보조모 야쇼다가 니랑 봐봐.
And then someone like your best friend who is always there to help you and care about you.
근데 소소가 배나 아마 진짜 아니 가디나 소소가 지금 팬독증인데.
And then someone like your mother, who is always caring about you, thinking about you, supporting you. And then your mom. And then someone like a servant. Of course, you don't have to look down on that person, right? Oh, he's my servant, so I need him to do this for me, or I need her to do this for me. Like, you don't think like that, but someone who will like serve you like a servant, who will serve you willingly, and then you feel happy. They are happily like serving you, like that.
대가 먹어지 변한 나도 내가 제사가 간지 고바스도 매니저 갈라나 대닝해지 어떻게로지 그래지 고래 간 얘기를 와가지.
There's someone who will listen to you, right? Who will do what you want them to do, like a boss, telling the staff, to do, and the staff listening to the boss.
한 네가 된다 도와가는 쇼로kan 예수 답리니까지 소소 만들이 고 그래서 무슨도서보다 소소 빈자나지 소소 좁어나지 아니 술라이나지 다운 등해지 오늘 간지 할까로 오늘 응원해서 해봐나 아니 다 간지 갈아대고 간지 보시고 그래서 다 땡안 돌아가서 돼.
So this is also referring to us. So we should be like that. If we are getting along with others, with others, like a sister, then they will be happy with us, right? They will be good. And then if we are very affectionate and or helping and loving a friend to them, then they will be happy. Like if we are like very caring, like a mother to them, they will be very happy, right? So to make them happy, we should be like this.
We
always think about making happy, making others happy, right? Benefiting, helping others, making others happy. This is advice for us. Mother always have this affection and love, towards the child, right? Mother is like is so helpful, right? So willing to do anything for the child, right? So child can drive the mother anywhere. And like His Holiness, the Lama used to say about his mother, right? So that how he learned about affection and love. He learned this first from his mother because she has so much affection and love for him. And he said he used to ride on her shoulder and then hold on her ear. So if he wants her to go left, then he will pull the left ear, and then she will turn left. And then if he wants her to go right, then he will pull her right ear, and then she will turn right like that. So he used to, and I said that he learned about affection and love first from his mother. Yeah, so in one hand, if you think about this, maybe it's like talking bad about each other, but in other hand, and then it also gives us advice, to be like that, to help others. So you have to get along, with others, right? You have to be a friend with others. You have to get along with others. So this is saying here you should be like a sister, to others. Getting
쟤도
along with
나도
them.
가졌다고 하는 나도 희가 동원하는 건 돈도 말아.
So why are we not able to get along with others? It's because of strong personality, right? So it's a strong view, and thinking that this is how it should be.
근데 따원 잡고 싶어 이러면 따와 소소고
Very strong view
제가 때는 많이 못 참받은
or idea.
못 참받은 둔추추 제고 그래서
So it should not hold that kind of strong idea or opinion, and always try to get along with others.
근데지 여봐이나 아니 못 참면 니라 봐봐 용 그러죠.
So if you get along with others, then they will all like you. Right? And so, he's very easy to get along with, so then they will all like you.
대신에 안에 소소 마신다 미참이 되게 그래서 아무 보을 수 없나시. 야만나 보고 아무 수 없나시.
And then if you are caring and loving like a mother to them, then they will also respect you as a mother, like a mother. Oh, is this person very kind, very caring, and then they will also respect you and serve you.
어떻게 그저 가가니 그래서 데모지 그래서.
And they will listen to you also.
아니 저런 게 참아 완도도 그래서.
Then you can, if they listen to you, then you can control them.
See?
Control in a nice way, like Kurukulla controls. Kurukulla controls it.
You think this makes sense? What do you think? This is sometimes I say the shara nipa moya. Pasamo tama yana gun to kamare sometimes they.
Like controlling, them or making them to do this, don't do that, So making them to do the good things, making them to not do the bad thing, like that. So that's a controlling. So that kind of controlling, positive way. So that way, if you think in that way, then that's really good, right? Controlling, it's good. Power and control is good. So you can control them to be a good person. But in other negative ways, you think that then it can be also negative. Right?
Okay, what do you guys think? Different ways? It makes sense?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, I think control might be a strong word. You could
Yeah,
also, maybe if you think you could influence them in a positive way.
I think like that may be good. Yeah, control may be too strong. Yeah, what's that?
Influence, positive influence.
Yeah,
Guide them.
Yeah.
I think guide them. Yeah, but this is not. We need to check ourselves. Okay, not say okay. He just talk about he king. King have to do that. King, not king. They have to talk about for us. What do you think? What do you think, Rika?
I'm a little
Because-
skeptical still.
Well, I
Verse
feel the
30
same.
verse 36 and 37, I'm a little bit skeptical. Because it seems like
That's good.
That's
yeah,
good. That's good.
little skeptical.
Okay, which one not correct?
36 and 37, both it seems because we've been studying about this and how we see other people comes from our mind. So it seems like this person doesn't have equanimity. Like if that person is not good for you, she's a good wife, a bad wife, and she serves you, she's a good wife. That, so I have to think about that a little bit more. But also we learn about the patience, that those people who gives you a hard time, that's the, we can learn that we can learn patience from these people. We need these people. So maybe King needs this wife that little bit, they're not
Good,
so
good.
kind.
Good debate, Kabi.
Very constantly.
So he can learn patience from this. Maybe that wife is there to teach him the patience. So I have to think about these two verses a little bit more.
Oh, okay, David said there's no talk about a king. He just talk about the Shitangi.
Yeah, but even like me, like if I judge people because this person is not doing good to me, that's a bad person. So, that's not cultivating equanimity. If this person is good, that's why I like him. So, and then also
Hold on. This is not the king said this person, she's good for that. Buddha
Yeah,
said that kind of person is good for you.
yeah,
Buddha doesn't do that in economity, Buddha said that good person is good.
yeah, but supportive like a mother, isn't it
Nagarjuna,
comes from
Nagarjuna.
our mind? Like supportive, like obedient like a maid, supportive like a mother, because the person is good to me. That comes from our mind that we
Obedient like.
yeah. So I had to think about that. And also like we study about Shantideva and patience, like these, we need these people who gives us little,
Okay. So you really need.
well, that's what I try to think, and it's practice patience, even though I don't want them. So
That's good. Good.
Well, Mario.
Good. How's that? Good.
Yeah. The Margaret Chicas.
Yes, Margaret.
Yeah, thank you. Can I respond to that? I think, I mean, Richard's point about, okay, let's talk about, we need Shantideva's teaching about that people who give us difficulties in our life, we should see them as precious jewels because they create the condition for us to learn. But that is like a teaching for us to learn how to approach situations and phenomena in life. But I see it as very separate from this letter. I mean, if I'm going to give an advice to my friend to say, what kind of spouse would be good for you? There's no contradiction, because when you choose a spouse, you're talking about living together, creating a happy life, creating a happy family, and things like that. I'm giving advice about what is indirect saying, what is the right moral values in people that you want. When you're choosing that, it's also saying like those are the kind of people we want to emulate. It's two very separate things, I see, because if you talk about Santideva's teaching is teaching us how we can deal with our feelings in interacting with situations, with world, with difficulties. That is a training for us to cultivate our Dharma, right? But it doesn't mean that because that is the teaching to say how you can handle situation means that you must go and marry somebody like this to create the learning, right? It's two separate things. Just so.
Now, you are looking two ways.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like this is how I'm looking at it. Like, yeah, we can't really mix all the teachings together, right? That is a teaching for that. This one here is the context of saying and in this particular two verses, they're giving an advice to say, want to make a good spouse for you. I wish I knew that when I was younger,
All right, I have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Well, first we want, like what Nagarjuna said. Well, let's say if we didn't find that, then we go and practice what Shantideva said.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yes.
That's good. Okay, Carlo, you have something to say? No, you don't have to say.
I'm thinking about it because
okay, just think about it.
I feel like I see both Rika and Margaret's kind of what you're saying, because at the same time, I kind of agree it's the context. Like, but bringing up the equanimity, that's kind of interesting, because when he was saying in the verse about if you do find the spouse who have the good qualities he listed, that you honor them almost as if like they are the family protector, the family god. That's interesting to think about as far as the equanimity thing, because not like you're putting them above everybody, but maybe in a way you certainly put them above yourself, but at the same time. But I think it's kind of nice sentiment because instead of or even like he's saying about if they do treat you with that level of the unconditional love, no matter what, like the mother, then, you know, if you really respect them as somebody that can also teach you unconditionally, and if you honor them almost like this family god, I feel like that's good because sometimes some people forget and kind of put people like, what's the word? Oh yeah, like contentment. They don't even have contentment with the person, so they forget about what's the reality of the whole situation. So I think even contentment teaching is good with this one. I don't know, but
Good,
rest
good,
I'm just thinking about. I don't know, but yeah.
그냥 내 something 정도 다. 소소 랑제 대 쇼로 간시. 심지 소득 지와도 많이 바꿨다. 소소가 랑제. 소소 당가도 내려 거구나. 소소 시카 보이나 보면 나이. 내리가 랑제도 많이 봐. something 그래서. 오늘 소소 시카 가리거나 심지 소비 어떤 놈이 그래서.
Or instead of trying to, find those qualities in other and avoid the bad qualities in others, you can try to apply that to yourself. Says, I should not be like that. Like it is explained in verse 36, and then I should be like that, like it is explained in verse 37. So that's the practice. We can't control others, right? We can't make others to do what they, what we want them to do, but we can do whatever. So what we can do is, or we can strive to do, is like this.
You think that does make sense?
Yeah.
저런 시간만들이 맞지. 오늘 가 시간 그냥 오시는 시간들이 좀 지고 다스.
So you should not do like that. You shouldn't have that kind of personality, like a murderess and so forth. But you should have like that kind of personality, like getting along with others, being helpful, being obedient, and so forth.
다들 소수가 남이네 임바네. 소수 비빈자가 나나 임바네. 소수 내가 제사 나나 임바네야. 주로가 담부 시간들에 맞지. 오늘 시간까지나 아니 심지 서로 직시가 어때는 수빈의 시간 되는 거 뭐지 그래서나 대전나 안에 제가 한번 담아잖아 가오치 그래. 담아잖아 칼은 얘기래. 제가 그치 그래서.
So whether with your spouse or with your family, like your siblings, your parents, don't be like the verse 36. Don't have the personality like the verse 36, but have the personality like the verse 37, and with your spouse, with your siblings, with your parents, even with your friends, or in the community as well.
Right? This makes sense, right? Then you show look sort of share the material and not take a marwa.
So if someone is like that with us, right, and like it is explained in verse 36, and will not be happy like that. If we are like that with others, then they will be not happy either.
제가 아니 맞으리만 실 something 시바나지 세모타와 순다고 소설을 배지 소설다 다완 등이 소설 안에 지금 내고 진행이 소설을 배도지는 건 상황 가오지 그러.
So, but if you are like it is explained in verse 37, right? Like getting along like a sister, helpful like a friend, and supportive like a mother, and servicing like a maid or servant, then you like that, right? So like that also, if you are like that to others, then they will be happy. They will like you too.
Okay. 대주 쇼로가다 잠시에 좋아를 걸어서 이거는 너무 로스면 약거든.
So after that is talking about how we should eat, right? What kind of motivation or thought when we eat food, and this is the verse that we should recite when you eat, and that way you to remind you, of what to think when you eat, and so it's good to memorize that verse and then always recite it before you eat. So His Holiness used this verse also sometimes to make the top offering.
One time,
And one time they made a top offering in Dashinabo Monastery, and then His Holiness just recited this verse 3 times, and that was good enough for making top offering. That was adequate of making top offering.
Okay, any questions? Yeah, that's good. Everyone try to memorize this. Then when you eat,
Verse 38.
yeah, then this is how to motivation, how to purpose to eat. Then all you eating food will become also the virtuous activity. Okay, any questions? Yes.
I have a question about the meditation at the beginning. I was just wondering if the visualizing the nectar flowing, does that come from Tantra or Sutra?
Mostly from Tantra. But in Sutra, you can also do that. You can do that. You can visualize Buddha Shakyamuni and the light coming down and washing away or clearing all the diseases, and so you can do that also. Yeah, I think there's this practice explained in Lamrim somewhere. But normally, visualizing deity and doing all this, the visualization of the nectar flowing down and so forth is related with the deity. Deity practice, which is the tantra. But also you can, unrelated with the tantra, you can do also this kind of practice. Yeah. Well, tantra, it's like mostly deity where you visualize or channel yourself to the deity, right? And that's the more powerful and quick way, to get the blessing or do the purification and so forth. But you can just, be as yourself and then visualize the deity in the space in the front of you and imagine the light and nectar flowing down and then washing away all the diseases or negativities and pain and all these things. So Geshe said when he was sick, he did that and it was really helpful for him. It helped his mind and also it was helpful for his body to heal. So definitely it's helpful to your mind. So like if your mind is disturbed and then you meditate on the Avalokiteshvara and then imagine light and nectar flowing down and then purifying all this negativities and so forth. If you think like that, that really helps.
Okay. Is it okay to like when you do the visualization, like for example, you feel it as and when you need it, and then without doing a full sadhana?
Yeah, we don't need sadhana.
Huh?
Even just you don't really need sadhana. Sadhana
Yeah, as and when you need it. Yeah, you want it, you can do that. It doesn't have to be related with the sadhana.
Even you could do your bed. You just lay down your bed.
In your bed, you can do that also.
It's good. That's good, but it's not possible. Then you can do also simple best. The 세단 되나 정도 다 점도서 이제 도도 리더나 주든지 지우로 봐. 가서 대 많이 와서 대진에 구스는 가서 주는 그거 나루다.
Yeah, if you have opportunity to do that all, then yes, of course, do that all. But whatever you can do, just do it. Then it's at least you get to do that. If you say, "Oh, I have to do it this way," then you don't get it do that way. Then you don't do it at all. So you lose that opportunity. So whatever opportunity you can grab, just grab it and do it. And that way, you get it done that way, that much, at least that much. Even if you don't get to do the whole thing from the beginning to the end in a proper way.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, then
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. In the beginning, when we talked about content, you explained the content is for the worldly things, not for the Dharma studies. So for Dharma, Okay, so Dharma study, you want more and more practice. Is that you say joyous effort, like cultivating the joyous effort? You want to study more and more?
Yeah. Effort.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's also bring to you more happy things, good things. It's not like our relative, of course.
Worldly things.
Worldly things. We don't want the contentment for Dharma, or we need contentment for other things. It's not means that don't go job, don't earn money.
Shola yang sesuatu cepat tu dia apa cerita orang. So of course, when we say not to be content with the Dharma, that means you have to continue doing Dharma as much, but don't do it over,
Yeah.
So that if you, more than what you can really, handle, if you do too much, then again, that can be problem also. So if you do too much, then you feel tired, and then you say, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. Like that. Don't get like that.
So the last week we discussed about laziness. Do you think that counterpart is the joyous effort? Not getting tired?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yes, so you need the effort. You need to make the effort, means like wanting to do the good things, right? Joyous effort. So wanting to do the good things, and then of course you need that confidence that I can do it. I can do it like that.
The faith and aspiration.
The faith and aspiration, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Geshe, you said then when we were saying what is delusion, and we said disturbing mind, but also Geshe said unhappy mind.
Yes, some unhappy mind, power to disturb mind.
Yeah, so that creates an unhappy mind.
Yeah.
It creates because when you think of some of like the secondary delusions like laziness or non-shame or something like that, I don't think of those as like you would notice that you had an unhappy mind though. But you're saying they would result in an unhappy mind.
Yeah, that's right. So in the back, it makes that. But of course, it doesn't manifest like unhappy at the beginning. But yeah, that creates this in the back. Yeah.
Some country some
Yeah, so like if you have if you maybe at that time you don't feel anything when you have that when you do the shameful thing.
Yeah.
But then in the back, later say, oh yeah, I feel I shouldn't have done that because of that. At that time you didn't have it, but then later you realize it. And then, but even like if you have very strong delusion and a very strong attachment for something, you don't feel like that's a suffering at that time.
That's true. Yeah.
And you think that's a happiness. Oh, I should go for that.
Yeah.
So whenever that mind arises, it makes you unpeaceful. So unpeaceful in that way. Not like we're a little bit strong to say maybe suffering, but unpeaceful or suffering in the same way, but unpeaceful is maybe a little bit more passive than suffering, right?
Disturbed, yeah.
Yeah, disturbed. Unpeaceful. Like peaceful is like relaxed and happy. Unpeaceful. So makes your mind unpeaceful. So whenever that arises, makes your mind unpeaceful, that's the delusion.
Thank you.
Okay, let me stop. Next week, everyone make sure that memorize the verse, okay? Then also think about a little bit the two verses. What kind of person I have to do? Okay? Okay, then we stop.
Okay, please turn to page 39 for the Thanksgiving mandala offering. Saji Purti Juji Mita
Religion de Jabade, Suggestion
Kurukulla Singla Shupashu Jetsun Mami Kutse Laptinshin Nakatrinle Joju Gibata Lo Samtemte Prome Sasundi Prome Monso Tatunde Juchi Idam Guru Ratna Mangala Kamniya Chayani. From my two collections, vast as space, that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds, wisdom eyes, blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach the state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri, and may I find the best of the complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means strong by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the paths as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddhist teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddhist deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest paths praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Dari Rawe Kowe Shinkan Dear Penda Dewa Banu Jove Chere Sewan Tenzin Jasoyi Shabe Side Badu Tenjuri Is it Nirjan Shok?
Newton show, yes.
Nirjan Shok. So we're going to try the short long life prayer, or the swift return prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche in Tibetan, and we'll change it to Nirjan Shok at the end.
He said, Shah Shushu.
I was teaching you the right one, but I was saying the wrong one.
Spirit always meet with perfect teachers. Your form embodies all Buddhas. Your nature is that of Vajradhara. You are ensure I seek your blessings, O protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives, and thus to become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Rajadhara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I, pleasing him in return, be forever fostered by an accomplished Mahayana spiritual master, the source of every virtue of this world and beyond. In his care, may I acquire in him a firm, unshakable faith, pleasing him by every means possible, doing nothing even for an instant to disappoint. May my spiritual master impart to me every instruction and every teaching in its entirety. Having understood them faultlessly, may I practice them and be able to bring them to perfection. May I never even for a moment fall under the sway of malevolent teachers or misleading friends. Having developed in every life belief in cause and effect, renunciation, the Bodhi mind, and pure view, may I embark upon them continually with effortless experience. In every life, may every virtuous act gathered by way of body, speech, and mind be causes solely for the welfare of others and for the purest and highest enlightenment. Page 57. Through this virtue may I swiftly gain Buddha's state, with teacher and every sentient being, without exception, in our state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forever.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Damchula.